Hello everyone, welcome. My name is Anna Partners, and today with me I have a very special guest. This is an amazing woman. She's doing a very good job. She is head of marketing at METL, Mohammed Enterprises Tanzania Limited. But she's also an author. She's wrote 2 books so far, right?
Yes.
2 books so far. And she's doing a lot of things. So today she's here to talk about women in leadership. As you already know, on 8th of March, the Citizen and the Mwananchi Communication Limited will be having a Rising Women Initiative. So who else to talk to if it's not like young women who are doing amazing job in leadership positions? So I'm with Fatema Dewji. Welcome.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for agreeing to do this with us today.
No, it's a pleasure. Pleasure is all mine.
And Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you too.
How has 2021 been so far?
It's been good. I think, every year, like for me, it's setting goals is also about like the way your mindset changes.
Okay.
So every year, I choose to have a different mindset towards my life.
Okay.
And so, just to be more grateful and be more positive, there's so much going on in the world. So, just to have a better attitude towards life.
Better attitude towards
Yeah,
life. Okay,
yeah.
that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a lot of things that I want to know from you. But first, I'd like to know, tell us about your personal story, shortly.
Okay.
How did you get to where you are today in this position?
Okay, so my story is actually a very funny one. I graduated from Georgetown University in 2010 in finance and management. So I actually didn't study marketing. I took 2 classes only in marketing. And because Georgetown is known for politics, siyasa, I loved it. So I said to myself, you know what, once I'm done, I'm just gonna go and study politics,
Okay.
So I had 1 year gap before I went to do my master's. So I came back and I was working in the finance division of the oil refinery.
Okay.
And we are all very curious people. I can't sit. So I was doing the finance and I was bored because it's a desk job, So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go in the market. I started doing trying to figure out what's happening with sales. I started looking at distribution, and then I was going into the market and speaking to people, and I realized that basically nobody knew about our products. It was a lot of pushing from our side and people were not really asking for our products. So there was no brand awareness. And this really scared me because multinationals like Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Unilever spend so much money on creating a connection with a consumer. And it's very, very important. And so I said to myself, you know what? Let me start to do a little bit of more market research on marketing, on our products. And so I set up the marketing department, and it was just me and 1 designer, and we had a small section of somebody's office that we were working from. And in 10 years, we've grown the department, and now I have about 50 people working under me.
Okay.
Within sales and marketing. And so it's been a really great journey.
To other people, they might think that it was easy, but it was not. I hope it was not, because you started with 1 person, right?
Yeah.
Just 1.
Yeah. It wasn't easy just because I don't want to say it wasn't easy. It was challenging. I had my challenges because I went through a lot of failure. I had to learn a lot. But I think one of the things that got me through it is that I always believe that I don't like this whole attitude of know-it-all. And so as soon as I came into this into marketing, I started talking to everybody. I would talk to people that had 20 years more experience than I had, and had worked for these huge multinational companies, and I started picking their brain, asking them questions, telling them, okay, what works, what doesn't work. And through that, I was able to do 2 things. One, not create a sense of threat and base my work on my title as a director, and so that people were a lot more comfortable to come and teach me. And I learned so much, so it was learning through humility, which really has helped me until today.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
so nice.
Yeah.
Okay, talking about your journey,
Yeah.
I want to know, growing up, did you always knew what you wanted to be?
No. So growing up, actually, I was a very poor student. People think, that I was probably a very good student. But in middle school, I was a very poor student. I used to just play a lot of golf.
Okay.
My dad got us into golf, me into golf at the age of 6. So I was playing about 4 to 6 hours of golf a day. And I was very angry at that time because my friends were out, like they were enjoying life, going to the beach, and me, Monday to Sunday was just golf, and then school, and we had religious classes, so I didn't really have time to do much. Basically, I was very lost. I wasn't very happy, but one fine day I just realized that, look, this is not who I want. I know my potential. I know I can do great things. And I changed my mindset. And after that, I just said to myself, I want to be the best person that I can be, the best version of myself. And through that, I just started working really hard. I was one of the top students in my school, in high school. I went to one of the best universities in the world. And, also just my success is based on, I wouldn't say any of these titles or any of these achievements, but rather that for me, whether it's in my marketing or it's in my personal life, it's all about making an impact. So even if you see our brand, it's called Mo Tunagusa Maisha Yako, because our brand is all about touching the lives of people from the moment they wake up to the moment they go to sleep. And in my personal life, I started an empowerment initiative called Educate, Empower, and Inspire. And the entire initiative was to bring female leaders in the spotlight from different fields, from the first female scientist, Dr. Mwananchi, who's amazing, to a woman who started her own widows association, to a woman who was basically helping promote and help women who are going through domestic violence. So I have interviewed some amazing women, and I think it gave me such a good perspective on the kind of stories that people are going through. And I realized that life is all about making an impact. We are in this world to make a difference, and we can all do it. It doesn't require money, a lot of money. It doesn't require anything. It just requires your time and your commitment.
So it's all about time and commitment.
Yeah.
Thank you for that advice. Okay, since we're talking about women in leadership, I want you to tell me, on your own definition, how do you define women empowerment?
What is women empowerment?
Yeah, women empowerment.
So for me, women empowerment is just whenever I see a woman, I always, and I genuinely do, I believe women can do anything. I think we have the power to, we have the power and the emotional intelligence and the mental capacity. Look at women who work and have kids and have, and are able to balance all this. It is phenomenal. So I think women empowerment is all about what we think we can achieve. Unfortunately, according to statistics, and if you listen to Sheryl Sandberg, who's the COO of Facebook, she talks about how it's very unfortunate how women, we put ourselves down. For example, if you ask, if you tell a woman, oh, you're doing so well, she will attribute her success to external forces. She'll say, oh, this person helped me, or I got lucky. But if you tell a man, oh, you've done really well, he'll be like, yeah, I know, thank you.
So we're bringing ourselves down. We don't believe in ourselves. But what do you think is a problem?
I think it's a lot of things. I think it's also the way we are raised. Unfortunately, we're raised in a society where if a woman speaks up, a young girl speaks up, you will see with parents, if a young girl speaks up, the parent will be like, oh, you're being bossy. And maybe they're not doing it on purpose, but they use these words. But if a boy speaks up, they're like, oh, this boy is going to be a leader. He's going to do really well. And so because of things like this, we grow up to have these preconceived notions that, we're not good enough and we can't get to places. And so that is why we have to change the narrative, the way we speak to our children. It's also, let's look at it from a perspective that it's also with boys. Women, it's like don't worry, you're gonna get married, your husband will take care of you. And with a boy, it's like you have to worry because you have to be the breadwinner.
Yes.
So there is pressure on both sides. So we have to just be very careful the way we speak to our children, you know, with love and affection and kindness and empowerment, you know, so that they grow up to be great human beings. And great human beings then make great leaders.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you want to say, like, if you want to build your child to become a leader or a successful leader, you have to start from a primary level.
Yes.
Like, what age do you think is a perfect time to start building your child to become a good leader?
I think it is from, like, you know, like the day they're born, the things you say to them. You know, I'll give you an example. You know, my dad, he gave us all the skills and he taught us I told you I grew up playing golf. So, you know, I said, you know, I used to be very miserable, but now with hindsight, I look at my life and I say, look, I've learned mental toughness. I've learned how to be a good team player. I've learned how to be a good loser. You know, because you have to lose, you know, and life, sometimes you lose. And what is your attitude when you lose, right? You know, you learn so many things, you know, how to be social, you know. But leadership is also about heart, right? It's about humility. It's about grace. It's about the way you conduct yourself. And that I learned from my mother. Because I remember growing up, she would always say, do not ever speak to anybody like they're beneath you. Because you will never learn. So if you want to be a good leader, you have to be a good human being. It is a prerequisite. Yeah.
That's good. Talking about leadership, you're a good leader. I want to know.
I hope so.
You are. I believe you are. Talking about leadership, I want to know what's your leadership style, because I know every leader has their own style. So what's yours, and how did you find out that will work for you?
Okay. So I think my leadership style is all about leading with example, you know, leading with giving people the opportunity to really unleash their creativity and their talents. You know, I don't like to control and micromanage. I think it kills people's passion. It kills their creativity. It kills everything that is within them. So I let people be. But at the same time, I think it's important to be assertive, you know, to make known what you need from your team members, right? But you know, leading by example is very important. People watch you all the time. So make sure that you are very, you know, that you are conscious of the way that you speak. You're conscious of the way that you deal with matters and the way you conduct yourself. So I think the way I found my leadership style was just by experience. You know,
it's working pretty well too.
Yeah, and I've seen some bad leaders, and that's when I was like, I don't want to be this kind of person, because when you're a bad leader, people hide things from you. They don't tell you because they're scared of you. They fear you. And if people fear you, then they don't really, you don't have a connection with them, and then you're gonna suffer. Your organization's gonna suffer, and your team is
going
to
to reach
suffer.
your goal.
Exactly. Exactly.
Since you're a leader, I want to know something. Okay, here at METL, I want to know your policies. Do you have any policies that aim to empower women in managerial level? Like, do you have that? And if you do, I want you to share with us, like, the successes that you have gotten so far.
So, you know, I'll tell you, HR is doing a really remarkable job at METL with, you know, there's a lot of gender equality. You know, I think that, you know, there's a very good ratio of men to women. I think the entire, if you look at HR and the sales team and the marketing team, you have more women in the team than men. You know, and so I think at METL we're doing the best, but we're still learning and we're still growing, but we're doing the best we can to empower women and to give them the opportunities to really you know, unleash their potential. But we would love to do even more in the future, and you know, that's what we're gearing towards.
So I've heard some of your interviews, you talked about mentoring women. Okay, so I want to know, did you have that
mentorship support?
Mentorship support in your career journey. Did you have that?
So I sought out for it. You see, in life, no one's going to come to you and be like, oh, okay, you know, let me help you. Okay, you have to want it. So I would go and disturb everybody and be like, I'm stuck here, please tell me, explain to me how to go for it. Not tell me what to do, but what is your advice? How do I go forward with this problem? So I have so many different mentors, you know, and in life you do need mentors who are people who can guide you, who have more experience than you, who know your field, you know, and yeah, it's fundamental to have mentors, and that is why I started my mentorship program, because, you know, I feel like for me, like I said, you know, I knew so many things, but what keeps me going is that I always believe that my purpose is bigger than me, and so it's all about giving back, you know, and adding value to someone's life, which is why I do these mentorship sessions, because I want people to be able to have a place where they have questions, and whether it's about their field or their career or even about their mental health, and a place that they can talk about these things openly and not feel judged, you know.
But then I want to know, do you look for any qualities before you start to mentor someone? Like, do you have any qualities that you're looking for, or you just mentor anyone?
So first of all, with interns, we have a lot of interns throughout the year who come in for a month and a half. So that's one sort of mentorship I do. The other mentorship I do is basically, it depends, you know, through referral, people will come and they'll say, hey, Fatema, I need help with, you know, I'm a bit stuck with my career. What do I do? You know, I'm lacking motivation. What do I do? So accordingly, with what I know, I try to help. You know, but if it's something that maybe I feel is not my expertise, then I send them to somebody who maybe could help them further.
That's good.
Okay,
so let's talk about formal training.
Formal training.
Yes, formal training. Do you believe that anyone who wants to be a good leader, they should train first, or a leader is just people are born with, but they can be a leader without being trained?
I think it's a mix of both. I think that you definitely, I don't think it's formal training, but I think that you learn through experience. So you can go two ways. You can either become a really reckless and a horrible leader because of the way you look at life and the way you look at things. Or you can go in the way where you adjust yourself and you say, you know what, this is how I want my organization to run, based on values like loyalty, based on values like, you know, a sense of trust. I want people to feel comfortable and at peace, and then you shift your leadership style to kind of be around those values, right? So I think for me it's a mix of both, but like I said, you know, I think it has a lot to do with the kind of human being you are. You know, if you're kind and you have a sense of humility, you know, a lot of leaders walk around with so much arrogance, and for me it's the most off-putting thing. I meet so many leaders and, you know, they have this edge, and it's total put off for me. And when I see leaders like that, it just makes me want to be even kinder, because I realize that I would never approach a person like that.
And why do you think this is happening? Why do most leaders have that kind of attitude?
I think it's because it's a complex. You know, when you have insecurities and you feel like you have to show your power, you act like that. And so, you know, like I said, you know, it's my mom. My mom has always taught us, and she's told us since we were young, that if you are ever arrogant or rude, you're going to get into a lot of trouble. And so we had to really be, and the way she used to act taught us a lot. She was very polite. My mom is a very kind person, the way she speaks to people. She doesn't raise her voice. And so you learn all this. And these are all leadership qualities, because at the end of the day, if she was arrogant and she had an attitude, we would be like, oh, okay, this is how our mother is. So we're supposed to be like this. But because my mother is a person who she lives with these ideals of, you know, a sense of grace and humility and love and kindness, we all have the same qualities as her.
So you can say like your mom is one of the your mentor.
Yeah, and you know, it's so strange because my mom actually did a lot of business, you know, back in the day. She used to help my dad a lot. But it's just, I think that leadership, like I said, it's not something you can go in a book. And yes, you can read about leadership, and you can always, and I always believe, keep reading, keep learning, keep excelling. But there are certain things in life that you have to sort of, is from the heart. And leadership is a lot to do with your heart and the kind of human being you are. Yeah.
Okay. So like, it's all about you, how you position yourself.
Absolutely.
That is how you make you a good leader, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You talked about your mom.
Yeah.
I just want to know, growing up as a kid, she used to beat you up when you just do something wrong, or like she never did that?
No. My mom, when my mom's very bole. Like, she's a very kind woman, and
How about your dad?
My dad was very strict.
Oh,
but he would never raise his hand with me.
Really?
No.
Wow.
But he was very strict and very disciplined, and we feared him a lot.
Okay.
So you see, with him, everything was about, don't waste your time. Life is all about work. Life is about doing well at sports. So you see, I'm grateful because they say idle mind is the devil's playground. So if you're just sitting the whole day as a kid and you're not doing anything, your mind will go here and there, and you'll wander and you'll start getting into wrong things. My dad is very smart. He was not educated, but you know what he said to himself? He's like, I don't want my kids to get into these things, so what should I do? He got us all into a sport.
Okay, so before we started this interview, we talked about you playing golf.
Yeah.
So like, when you were a kid, your dad used to say, like, I don't care if you don't like it.
Yeah.
You have to do it.
Yeah.
So how did you just get to love it? Like, growing up, because you did not love it.
Yeah, and I actually said to him, I said, I'm a girl. Why are you forcing me to play 6 hours of golf a day? You know, it's hot outside. And he said, I don't care. And I think that was, you know, and I didn't like golf for a long time. Because it was a lot of work. You know, I used to play during the day, and then at night we had a golf net. And the coach used to come, and I used to hit 200 golf balls at night before I'd go to sleep. Every day. So it was sort of like, you know, we had our schedule very tight. You know, there's no room to just mess around.
No. Like, okay.
And if you want to play a sport, you want to go swimming, you are allowed. But you want to go and do anything else, there's no need. You know. So, but now I value what he did, because literally it is so important. Like, and statistically, a lot of female CEOs and leaders have played a sport, and it has built who they are. Because sports teaches you amazing things. It like I said, discipline, how to be a team player, how to tackle challenges. You know, when you're on the golf course and you hit a bad shot, and you're young, you went to Fetuka, like you were angry.
You're angry.
So
you cry. Okay.
Yeah, you know, so you have to learn how to control yourself and how to lose with grace. That is a really difficult thing that you have to learn. Like, you know, when you lose, you have to be like, oh, it's okay, yeah, congratulations, yeah, you know. And that attitude, I learned all that through sports. You know, so now I'm very grateful that my dad did that, because you know, when you're young, you don't know better.
Yes.
Right? So your parents have to sometimes push you to things that maybe you don't like so much.
And sometimes you get mad at them. You don't know that way it's going to help you in the future.
Absolutely.
Okay. I want to know, what would you say what are you most proud of? What did you say is your biggest achievement in life?
My biggest achievement. Okay, so I think people know what I do and what I do, like in terms of, you know, I'm a director, I'm an author, I'm a mentor, I do fitness, you know, I do all these things. But I think what I'm proud of is that my values have stayed the same. I don't let things get to my head. I believe in making an impact. So every day for me, I ask myself, was I a better person than I was yesterday? And I truly do, because what is life otherwise? If you're not there to help another human being or to add value to somebody else's life, then and have a sense of purpose, then there's no point. So that is what it means to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
You talked about that. I want to know, what's your most vulnerable moment?
My vulnerable moment. You should watch my TED Talk. Not really. I think then you will understand. So there was a period I went through. In 3 years, I went through a lot of pain. a lot of pain. It was started with a very bad divorce, and then it went to my brother went missing, and then it went to one of my best friends dying, all in 3 years. So it was just pain, 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 pain. But I talk about this. I said, you have to find a purpose that's bigger than your pain. And what I mean by that is that, when you're in those moments of adversity and challenge and pain, you have to find that thing inside you that pushes you. And one of the things that kept me going is I knew that I inspire people. I know people look up to me. I know that I have a cause that's greater than me. It's not just about me. So that is what really, really sort of helped me push through those difficult times.
So like when you're in difficult times, let's talk about that. What do you do to just overcome that, to just get back to who you are? Like, what do you do?
Okay, so I run every day, and that helps my mind a lot. So it kind of when you run, it releases endorphins and makes you happy. So I run and I exercise. I journal, so I write down what I'm feeling. I take time out sometimes. Sometimes when you're feeling overwhelmed, it's because you're working too much. So you should form a good support system. Have good friends around you. Friends that motivate you, that value you, that are not just negative all the time. Sometimes you'll sit with your girlfriends and you'll only hear them say, this happened, did you know that? It's just negative. So be around people that talk about ideas, that talk about positive things. Not even positive, but that just are there and that add value to your life.
Good that you talked about friendship, because I wanted to ask, people who are around you, do you believe the people, your friends or people around you, help you to become who you are? Or it's all about you?
No way. I think if it weren't for certain people in my life, I would not be here today. And I mean that with all my heart. And actually, if you see in my book, it says the beginning of it, I've said, to those that light a spark in me, you know who you are. And I mean it, because when I was going through the hardest times in my life, it was these people that lifted me up. And I cannot give credit to myself. So yeah.
Good.
Yeah, and I believe God sends people like this. Whenever you're in a difficult time, He doesn't leave you. He always sends people your way that will lift you up. Yeah.
Whoever your friends are, you
did
a great job, and I congratulate you on that. Okay. Let's talk about women empowerment. You say that here in METL, you have succeeded in empowering women in top positions. I want to know, what's your take on other organizations? Why is it so hard to empower, put women out there? What do you think is the problem?
I think the problem is the way that the organizations function. The issue is that a lot of organizations think that it's a liability to have women in positions of power, and it's a very wrong attitude. And this is not, actually I feel in Tanzania we are way far ahead. A lot of women are empowered here. If you go to the West, there is a huge problem with women in positions of power, because there's such few women in positions of power, and they're not given opportunities, and because there's such few positions available, you have women now pegged against each other, and now there's a threat, and then you have problems, right? But I think in Tanzania, the women that I've interviewed, and I've interviewed a lot of female leaders, I've seen a lot of female leaders, I think that we as a country are doing a good job in empowering women, and I think organizations should definitely work towards making things better and easier for women. But when I go through my experiences, everybody asks me one question, that have you faced any problems being a female leader? And I haven't. In Tanzania, no. But from outsiders, yeah.
Okay.
And so I feel like here people have a lot more respect.
Okay.
That's
good. So you advise the organization, the companies and all, but what's your advice on women who want to get to where you are today, in top position? What's your advice?
So look, I'm not going to I'm not going to say that, you know, oh, you know, I did have somewhere to go. So it's not that you know, I did have this opportunity, you know, but I took advantage of the opportunity.
Yes.
Does that make sense? So,
It does.
you know, I don't want to also, you know, act like I'm like, oh, I just came and, you know, and people will say, well, you were given the opportunity.
Yes.
And I was.
Yes.
And I'm not going to lie about that, but I took full advantage of that opportunity.
Yes.
So, and that comes from hard work, and it comes from commitment, and it comes from every single day you putting in the time and putting in the energy, but also lifting other women along the way. And that is fundamental, because it's very lonely at the top otherwise. If it's just you as a woman. So bring other women along the way. Make sure you are mentoring other women. Make sure you're empowering other women. You know, things like that. They're very important.
Okay, how they heard your advice. It's very important.
Yeah.
I don't want to take too much of your time because I know you have like a really hard schedule. So I want to know, as a woman, you know, you're very busy. How do you get that time to take care of yourself, to do like personal things apart from work? How did you do that?
So it became very difficult for me because you know, my mind, it doesn't shut down.
Okay.
So, you know, I tell everybody that I have my brain, it's genetics. All of us from our family, we have to constantly be doing something. So even like when I go for a massage, I feel very like antsy because I feel like I have to sit there for 30 minutes and it's just like I'm not doing anything. Yeah, but it's not good. Because you can't constantly, you know, and I talked about this in my last post about creativity. You, in order to be creative, and I'm in a creative field, you have to have downtime. You have to make sure that you're relaxing, you know. And so nowadays, what I do is I make sure that, you know, I take time. Like, so every day I work out. I make sure I go running. I go running with my dog, you know, and I have that fresh air, which helps me. But I'm also scheduled. So I don't waste time procrastinating, you know. I'm very particular about the kind of people I hang out with. You know, I don't like to just sit and chat about things that have no value, you know. I think that it's very important to have your mind in the right places, because it also says a lot about you as a human being, and it activates things in your own body. So be around the right kind of people. Make sure that you have good time management, because everything is possible. It's just about your timing. You know. Yeah, it's not easy for any woman. And you know, Indra Nui, she was the CEO of Pepsi, and she said that, you know, women can't have it all. She said that. And she was saying it out of her heart, because she said what she had to do was designate. For example, if her kids call, some of the work she had to give her assistant to be like, can you please pick up the phone, because she's the CEO of a company. Right? So it's not easy for a woman. It's a tough job being a mother, being a wife, being a leader, a boss, being a mentor to so many people, right? But I think that's why we're incredible, that we can do all these things, you know.
So we have superpower.
We do have a superpower. Yeah, we have, definitely, you know.
So I'll blame myself if I don't ask you this question.
So
at the beginning of the interview, you talked about you started politics.
I wanted to do politics.
You did not do that?
No, I went to a school that is known for politics. So it had people like Madeleine Albright, the Secretary General. They had like President Clinton. A lot of politicians graduated from Georgetown, and so I used to go to a lot of the lectures, and I used to love it.
So you don't love it anymore?
It's not that. I found my passion with marketing, and I love marketing.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you because I want to know, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years, I see me growing the brand, the Mo brand. You know, what I want is, I have this picture. You know how when you see McDonald's nowadays, you just see the M, bus, and people know, and that's what I want for my brand. And I want to be able to touch as many people as I can through the brand, not only in terms of distributing my products, but adding value to their lives.
You're doing a good job so far, so I
Thank
know
you.
you'll get there.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a very eventful and interesting journey, but I think that I've learned so much along the way.
I thought since you liked politics, maybe you wanted to be like
And
involve yourself in politics someday.
no, I don't think it's a good idea. No, I think politics is challenging, and I don't have the heart for it. Yeah, so
No, I think you said like we have superpowers and you can do anything that you put
that's
your
also
mind to.
true. Yeah.
So
Let's see. Maybe.
Let's wait and see.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we finish this interview, last question I want to know.
Absolutely, that's fine.
Do you sometimes sit and like say, if you are given like, let me put it this way, if you were given an opportunity to like just choose 3 things like you wanted to change in your life, like if I had the time to change, I would change them. What would they be?
Change.
Yeah, like
Oh man.
go back and change.
Go back and change.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's a very, very good question.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't like to use the word change because I feel like I'm very blessed.
Yeah.
And I've used everything. I've talked about my challenges, right?
Yes.
But I would never want to erase those challenges.
Okay.
Because I think that pain has made me who I am. So I don't want to change anything, but I want to continue being a better person and a better leader.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that I want to grow my brand further, and I want to help other people rise up as well, other women rise up, and so I don't think I'd want to change anything, because I think if it wasn't for what had happened to me, I would not be who I am.
That's a good answer.
Yeah, that's a political answer.
That's good. So thank you very much, Fatima.
Thank you.
We pronounce your name wrong. It's Fatima.
Fatema. But it's okay.
Okay, Fatima.
Yeah.
Thank you so
That's
much for your
such a
time. I had a blast doing this interview.
Thank you.
have
It was
learned
a
lot.
pleasure.
And I hope people who are watching this at home have learned a lot from you today. So guys, thank you so much for joining us, being with us through the entire interview. I was with Fatema Dewji, who is head of marketing at one of the biggest house of business in Tanzania, in Africa in general. She's also an author, as you said in the beginning. She's a motivational speaker. She's doing a lot of things. And I applaud you for that.
Thank you.
So we talked about a lot of things, mainly about women in leadership. I hope you learned a lot from her today. I personally learned a lot from her. So just to remind you, on 8th of March at the Citizen and the Mwananchi Communication Limited, we'll be having a Citizen Rising Women Initiative that will be happening at Serena Hotel, and will be aired live through Mwananchi YouTube channel and Plus. So be sure to keep on reading the Citizen and Mwananchi for more updates about the event, and hopefully you'll be there.
I will be there.
Okay,
Yes.
so I thank you so much for your time.
Thank
Till
you,
next time.
everyone.
Bye.